Okay, so here we go. I'm starting a video log. It's April 23rd, 2021. I thought it was a good idea. I just got over my second shot for Corona. It's the third time I've had Corona. So in 2021, we're still, kind of distanced a lot. Activities are coming back. I have a conference I need to drive to on Sunday, so there'll be limit interaction. I think confidence is building up with people having a vaccine. I'm just streaming this without a background right now with a box in the corner with some clothes on. No, a suitcase. The box next to it with some things I need to organize. So this is my morning pad, and I want to talk today about all the responses around the police cases. There are a lot of news reports about shootings, and we just had the Chauvin trial, which was about a year after this video from George Floyd went viral. And what I find interesting in tracking all the social media comments about this topic in general, which has become very racially focused, I think partially correctly so, partially not correctly so. What I find interesting is that the polarization of commenting seems to be overly pervasive in social media. This morning, switching to another topic, but making the point about polarized writing or polarized comments and polarized content versus more nuanced or centered content or balanced content. Just this morning, I was complimenting a staff writer for Yahoo News who financial news section. That's the better news, I think, these days. They seem to be more objective there. But this writer, Sewell is his last name, if I recall correctly, did an article about China and Xi and how Xi Jinping is now crossed over, overlapped with multiple presidents. And he basically said that China had a long strategy, and the U.S. is always, depending on your politics, waiting for a switch. And he obviously, wrote an article about two superpowers and everything going on with that. But it was very balanced and centered. He took an objective look at concerns in China around the Uyghurs, however you pronounce that group, and listed the balance of issues both in the USA and in China and how China's position or view on the USA seems to have changed. He referenced Biden's latest Alaska meeting and then went on to talk about changes from Trump and Biden, but also how the previous new administration had many overlapping positions, so they're consistent actually from Trump to Biden, and made the point about how there's very important areas more consistency than inconsistency, especially related to U.S. concerns over human rights. I have yet to find a good write-up about even conflicting proposals about how to revamp or possibly do police training better. I do think there's probably an opportunity for them to, for police women and personnel, men, whoever the police is. And by the way, police has plenty of minorities working among police, so I'm sure they talk about these topics amongst themselves too. But I'm sure there's plenty of opportunities to revisit, what weapons police carry. Are there opportunities for better stun devices since times do seem to be changing, or at least maybe nothing much has changed, but the topic's coming in more focus. So how does that then cascade if choices are made? Is evaluation even happening? What's the time expectation we can expect some new policies to be written? And once that happens, how do you know, segue that into police culture to change it, revamp it? I think by now it's pretty clear that this whole movement around defund and making police feel less certain in their jobs is not a good approach. Major cities, Los Angeles, Minneapolis, have already seen the fallout. I even think George Floyd's neighborhood is having issues of increasing crime. So this whole idea of pulling back defund, which is not taking all their money away. It's about reallocating money. I get that, but that doesn't seem to have been a plan that was well architected. So, in my view, we need to demand, ask, bring to the attention of elected leaders and people influence police unions even that it's time to, within 4 to 6 months, have a really clear discussion about how we train police. It probably takes a year or two, maybe three, to become an effective police officer. On the flip side, 16 to 20 years in the force, I could imagine easily that the last 4 or 5 years you become more callous. It depends what you've seen. We're all influenced and shaped by experience as life progresses. Why would a police person not be different? So, that also leads to how do you deal with newer officers first 3 years on the job. I'm just giving a range, could be first 1 to 4. Not an expert in this. Then 4 to 16 years, and 16 to 20, 25 people are dropping off. Next question is, how do we balance the police with private neighborhood and community initiatives, or even privately contracted SWAT slash military slash National Guard needs? So maybe we need to start breaking policing up into 3, 4, whatever groupings, and also scope this by size, city, geography, need, crime rates. We don't really hear anything about this at all. We hear a lot of polarized messaging. We read a lot of messaging. I feel like 80% of what I read on social media is just somebody repeating something they just thought of that they saw. From an article. You can really take a look at the time span when something's posted. Dan Bonino or whoever it is, somebody has a lot of followers. There's a lot of quick responses to that, and then it filters out. And so it seems like a lot of the social media dialogue is more, hey, it's on my mind, I want to say something, I want to say what other people say. So on that level, it's very valuable, but it's not valuable yet for a better, more prolonged and high quality discourse and even dissemination, distribution of information, which I'm not sure if we need news channels, if we need to go back to documentaries, if we need to go back to just talk shows that moderated by maybe people with academic backgrounds. Maybe this goes back to a lot of things that have changed in our methods of communication. Obviously Facebook, Twitter have been somewhat under assault because, well, not assault, but they've been scrutinized over the fact that some people are banned or temporarily suspended from usage, but they're just a technology platform. And nobody's forcing people to primarily look at Twitter or Facebook for their news content. It seems to have gravitated that way because of these devices, because it's so quick and you can set up feeds, but I turn my phone off about, 8 or 9 hours one day of the weekends, and then I try to kind of limit it at about 8 o'clock at night and don't really get back on it till 6:30 in the morning. But other than that, it takes up a lot. There doesn't seem to be a really good dialogue about how we're, or even knowledge on how we're going to get to where we want to be. And that's the main point I wanted to make with the first video log on April 23rd, 2021.